On this video, we're going to dive deeply into discovering what it means to live your life in the now by finding out what it means to be in the now, why you'd want to be here, and what are the benefits of being in the moment, being in the now. Hi, this is David Greenwood of Your Life in the Now, where we help you to move beyond the old limitations of your subconscious mind so that you can enjoy life in a whole new way, to discover what it's like to live your life in the now and to become the person you're meant to be. And if you find this video of interest, you can always leave me a comment in the place down below. There's also a place where you can find out more information about what I do and how to contact me directly. So what does it mean to live your life in the now? What does it mean when we say that? There's been many definitions of living your life in the now. Sometimes people think of it as retiring to a mountaintop, spending the rest of your life sitting in meditation, having others feed you. It's really not like that. Living life in the now, as you're going to discover, is what it's like to become a modern mystic. Now, mystic is defined as someone who is in touch with that otherness, that oneness. And I also like to add, it's someone who lives in both worlds, in the world but not of it, the physical and the spiritual world. Being able to exist in both places allows you to have the healthy balance that I put to you is what we all need to have. Now, living life in the now to me means taking time to connect with the reality that is there, that is always around us. Now, during your daily life, you don't always have to connect with this. And this is one of the fallacies I think people have. They think that, well, in order to be in now, I have to be in it all the time. I have to give up my family, give up my job. I can't eat foods that I like anymore. I can't indulge in any of the sports or things I love to do. That's not true. It isn't what it means to be in the now. Being in the now means a complete process of living your life with the most support you could ever imagine. So maybe it's important for us to define what it's like to live in your daily life. And as you go through your daily life, we always use what's called thoughts, right? Thoughts help you drive your car, talk to people, do the various things. But there's a difference between what we call psychological thoughts and practical thoughts. Practical thoughts are those things like talking, speaking. Thoughts are a tool that we use to communicate. This is perfectly fine. We need thoughts to do our job, to pay your bills, to explore and to enjoy life. It's okay to use practical thoughts. But when you don't need that tool anymore, it's okay to let it go, to naturally find that those thoughts come to an end. And what you're going to discover is usually the old subconscious programming jumps in with what we call psychological thoughts. Psychological thoughts are those thoughts of the doubts, the worries, the concerns, fears. Oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, worry about this, take care of that, on and on and on. It's what we call the chattering mind, the monkey mind, the noisy, critical thoughts that just jump in. This is what we want to move beyond. There's no need for that at all. It doesn't help you, it holds you back. It literally means there's a part of your subconscious programming that's taking charge of your life. What you can find is that you, the healthy you, can use practical thoughts. And when you don't need to think, you don't need to think. And naturally you find you move into what's called the now, into now consciousness. In now consciousness, there really is no need for thinking unless you want to think. It can be a moment, it can be an hour. It's whatever you need to live your life in a healthy way. You don't have to become like a Krishnamurti or Eckhart Tolle. There's nothing wrong with being that. Believe me, we need those people, but most of us have more of an ego. Most of us are born with an ego, and we're always going to probably have an ego. Now, to me, the ego can become healthier. A healthy ego has thoughts and natural desires and inclinations, things you like to do. You like the color red versus the color blue. You like certain foods. An ego has that. It's okay to have an ego. You don't have to be without it. It's really hard to be without an ego. It's just that we want to make the ego as healthy as possible. A healthy ego is one that allows you, when you don't need to be thinking, to move into the present moment in that exact moment when your thoughts end. So you're used to what it's like to go through your day with thoughts. Please just be aware of when your psychological thoughts try to come back in, for that's what we want to be aware of so we can move beyond that by healing the ego so it becomes healthier. And then what you discover is you can naturally move into the now. Now, those are words, the idea of moving into the now. Literally what happens is when you stop, there's a quietness, this peacefulness. I feel it as this intense joy of folding into this reality that is always there, always around us. As Krishnamurti used to say, it's just waiting for you to open up to it if you just stop thinking. Now, it's a little bit more involved in that, of course. You can't stop thinking and get there because that's an act of the ego. But there's other things you can do by becoming healthier. Your thoughts act to naturally stop on their own. You see the intelligence of it, you let it go. So when you move into the now, into this state of that oneness, that immense connection with this presence, this otherness around us, it is something you have to experience. These are just words. Words do not convey anything about what it is. It's not just a state of mind, it is everything. And it is beyond thoughts. It's beyond your imagination. Whatever you think being in the now is, it's not. It's a whole different thing. It is truth. It is life itself. And we move away from that life. When we do our daily life, we tend to be focused on the little mundane things, which of course we have to do sometimes, but no longer than you really need to, because this incredible connection, this creative energy is waiting for you, just words, for you to come back into it. And then that is moving you, guiding you. It is not a passive thing. It's very dynamic. It's very active. It's everything. And yes, more and more you will find that you're able to do your life more in the now. And yes, your ego will become healthier and will diminish more and more to greater, lesser degrees. You know, I've discovered when I first had my experience with this, I was 19 years old. And my ego came back in and literally tried to push it out, did not want to have anything to do with that otherness, that place beyond thought where it couldn't control. And around 40, I did more of the emotional growth work and was able to create a healthier ego as I continued to work with it. And then I find that with that healthier ego, it just allows you to move into this moment more and more. And the more you do, the more your life just changes for the better. You're not worried about the little things. You begin to see things for what they really are. You become more balanced. You're not caught up in all the old beliefs, the negative behaviors that once conditioned us. All the problems of our life come from that early conditioning, the imperfect conditioning that creates the ego, the personality that is so full of misconceptions. It's full of doubts and worries and concerns. It's full of feelings of negativity toward others, of other races, of other religions. It's nonsensical, but it's what we're programmed to believe. When you start waking up to that, your life does begin to change more and more. And when you move into this moment, this now, it's an entirely different experience. So what is it like to live life in the now? Well, the bottom line is you have to experience it for yourself to get it. Whatever words I use to describe it is not it. Someone once said it's like hanging a picture frame in midair and trying to just capture all of nature. But words are all we have. And helping you to become that healthy ego, which in turn allows you to experience this more and more, is what will transform the world. As Eckhart Tolle said, the next stage of evolution is learning to be without thoughts. The practical thoughts are fine, but the psychological thoughts are going to have to come to an end for humanity to become who we're meant to be. all the problems with race, all the problems with fears, the riots that we have, the inner turmoil, all this is going to move eventually into a healthier state. Now that's probably beyond what I can even imagine with my little egoic mind at this moment, but it has to happen. The more and more we're able to be in the now, the more we feel that connection, that brotherhood, there's oneness. It just is. It's nothing you have to imagine. It's beyond that practical thoughts. And to experience it directly is one of the things that will help you to really experience and to see the benefit of it. Now for me, when I had my first touch of it back when I was 19, it lit a fire within me that never went out. And despite the resistance, and my subconscious resisted mightily over the years, it still kept bringing me back. And I believe this is the same for everyone. Everyone has the capacity. You probably have already touched upon it. Maybe you didn't know it or recognize it, or maybe you did, and like me, you weren't able to move beyond it. There's many people that come to me saying, well, I can't be like Krishnamurti or Eckhart Tolle or any of the other great masters or enlightened beings. And I say, you don't have to be. You don't give up if you can't be up here. You do what you can and just experience it. It will transform your life. You don't have to become like some of these illumined beings. Just let go of that, because that's what your ego will use, the negative ego. Use the word negative, it feels like that. It's really not negative, it's just wounded and resistive. But that part will use that to hold you back. The first step is to become aware that you have this ego that is sometimes not in your best interest. It's conditioned, it's worried, it's resistive. And that will overpower you. As you become aware of it more and more, you can heal that. It will become healthier. And with that will come this direct experience more and more. Now you can have that experience again, like I did, no different than anybody else. You can have that experience without having a healthy ego. It just really helps if you have one, believe me. I don't want you to go through what I had to go through to have the experience and then feel like you were constantly failing at moving into it for 20 years. It was not a good thing. So whatever you do, please just consider that there is something beyond thought, something beyond our conditioned mind, something beyond that is always there. And every time you connect with it, it feels new and different. And there's different sensations. It's beyond describing. It's beyond understanding. Our conscious mind just cannot grasp it. And yet it is who we are. We've always been this. And we just allow ourselves to begin to reconnect with it, everything will change for the better. Experience it for yourself. See if that isn't true. How amazingly transformational it is. This is what we are meant to do, to move into this space, to be this person. So do the best you can and to find that, yes, it is worth it to transform your life, to be in the moment, to be in the now. I tried to give you a little bit of a description of what it's like to be in the now, but obviously experiencing it for yourself is the best way. And this is what I am passionate about helping people to do. What I do is help remove what's stopping you from being this. You have to be the one that moves into it, but I can help you take away what's stopping, what's resisting you. That's a subconscious programming, and give you some experiences with it, that touch of it, that feeling of it, to light that fire within you so that you will continue on to embrace your own life in the now. Hope this is helpful. In the next few videos, we're going to go more into the benefit of being in the now even more, and what it will take to become more and more specifically in the now. This is David Greenwood. I look forward to talking with you next time.